Hi, this is me Janvi and you are watching me on our YouTube channel Paths Pop-Up Studio. In this channel, we upload vlogs and videos about Finland. If you are also interested in the content that we create, please subscribe to the channel and also hit the bell icon so that you never miss an update. This is the 6th video of the Study in Finland series that we have been making. In this video, I'll talk about the new law passed by the Finnish government regarding foreign students. But before that, it's Nepali New Year today, so Happy New Year to all the Nepali viewers. We wish you a prosperous and happy New Year 2079. If you remember, I had made a video some time ago about an immigration law for foreign students in Finland. Now I have an update about it. The big news is Finnish government has passed the proposal. According to the new law, the students and their family members will get residence permit for the entire period of their studies. The new law will come into force from tomorrow, that is 15th of April 2022. The press release by the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment can be read in their website. Please follow the link in the description. Let me read it out for you. Under a new act, students and their family members arriving in Finland from abroad will obtain a residence permit for the entire duration of their studies. The law will also make it easier to apply for work after graduation. However, students will still be responsible for their livelihood throughout their studies. Finland wants to attract significantly more international experts. Therefore, legislation will be amended to allow foreign students to obtain a residence permit from the whole duration of their studies. The new law will also improve the students' employment opportunities after graduation. It will become easier for students to focus on their studies as they will be granted a residence permit for the entire length of their studies. Foreign students' rights to work during their studies will also increase from the average of 25 hours to 30 hours a week. Under the new act, the type of permit for students studying for a higher education degree will change from temporary B to continuous A, which will make it easier to obtain a permanent residence permit. According to the legislative reform, the family members of the student will also receive a continuous A permit. Graduates to have easier access to jobs. In the legislative reform, the so-called job seekers permit, which is granted to students who have completed a degree and to researchers who have completed their research, will be extended from 1 year to 2 years. The permit would not need to be used immediately, but could be applied for within 5 years of the expiration of the residence permit. With seamless permit practices, the government wants to make it easier for international students and researchers to stay in Finland. The new law will enable those who have studied here to look for work and will make Finland a more attractive destination for international experts, says Minister of Employment Tuula Hatainen. In this video, I'll discuss everything about the new law in detail. I'll discuss things like what changes have been made in comparison to the previous law, what remains the same, and how the changes benefit the students. First, let's look at what the law covers. The first thing that the law ensures is student will get the residence permit for the entire years of their study. Second, the students and their family members get A permit instead of B permit. Third, the limit of working hours for students is increased. And fourth, the job seeking permit is extended from 1 year to 2 years. Now let's talk about these points in detail. The first change that has been made is the duration of the residence permit. Previously, the students used to get a residence permit that was valid for 1 year or 2 years in maximum. But from now on, the new law ensures that the students get their residence permit for the entire years of their studies and they do not have to renew their residence permit anymore. Another change is in the working hours of the students. The new law extends the working hours of the students from 25 hours to 30 hours per week. This means that the students are now legally allowed to work for 30 hours per week or 120 hours per month. These working hours are a lot more than in many other European countries like Denmark, Germany and Norway, where students are allowed to work for only 20 hours per week. Another change is in the type or the category of the permit. The students and their family members will now receive A permit instead of B permit. The category of the permit is directly linked to the PR process in Finland. I'll discuss about this a little later in the video. Stay tuned. Another change in the law is about the job seeking permit. The job seeking permit or the post-study permit that the student gets after the graduation is extended from 1 year to 2 years. Now, the students can get 2 years of permit in order to look for the job after their graduation. Among all other things, there are two things that remain unchanged. First, all international students coming from outside the EU or the EEA are required to pay tuition fees. Second, these students are still required to show the means of support in their bank accounts. International students still need to demonstrate that they have sufficient funds or means of support for covering the expense for 1 year in order to get a residence permit. As stated in the press release by the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment, students will still be required to provide proof of a secure means of subsistence, but only for 1 year. However, they will be responsible for their livelihood throughout their residency. The authorities will also monitor the requirement of a secure means of subsistence during the validity of the residence permit. Now let's discuss the benefits that the international students get from the new law. The main objective of the new law, as stated by the ministry, is to attract foreign experts to Finland and also to retain the workforce and the graduates in the country. So this has a clear connection with granting PR to international students. The new law has made it easier for the students to get a PR after their studies. One of the requirements for getting a PR in Finland is one should have lived in Finland for a continuous period of 4 years on continuous residence permit, that is A permit. So when a student gets an A permit right from the study years, then those years will also be counted as the period of residence. That way, it makes it easier for them to get a residence permit after their studies. Another advantage that the students get from this new law is when they get the study residence permit for the entire years of their study, they do not need to renew their residence permit every year or two. That saves time and money. The extension of working hours allowed the students to work longer and earn more during their study years. Also, the extension of job search permit allowed them to look for a job in Finland for a longer period of time. Different Finnish media also have news coverage about this new law. Yle News covered this news on its news portal as "New law aims to cut red tape for Finland's international students." It writes, "The amendments will mean students and their family members can receive residence permits for the duration of their studies. Previously, students have been required to regularly cut through red tape at the immigration service Migree in order to renew study-based visas every year or two. The new law, which goes into effect on Friday, also aims to make it easier for foreign students to seek work in Finland after they complete their studies." The Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment said the law change was made because Finland wants to attract more international experts by improving students' employment prospects after graduation. Daily Finland, an online news portal, has also covered this as higher students get A category residence permit from April 15. The government of Wednesday brought necessary changes to the respective law with the view to ease entry and retention of international students in Finland. The president approved the amended law on Wednesday, which will enter into force on 15 April 2022, according to a press release issued by the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment. Under the new act, the type of permit for students studying for a higher education degree will change from temporary B to continuous A, which will make it easier to obtain a permanent residence permit. According to the legislative reform, the family members of the student will also receive a continuous A permit. In the legislative reform, the so-called job seekers permit, which is granted to students who have completed a degree and to researchers who have completed their research, will be extended from 1 year to 2 years. The permit would not need to be used immediately but could be applied for within 5 years of the expiration of the residence permit. All in all, the new law has made it easier for the students and their family members to study and to look for jobs here in Finland, and also it has made it easier for them to get a PR in Finland. The new law comes into force from 15th April 2022. This means if you or your family member gets a study residence permit or a residence permit based on family ties, then the permit will be valid for the entire years of your study and the permit will be A permit. That permit will help you get the PR if you want in Finland. This applies to all the students that have applied for the residence permit for their August intake. So that's all for today. I hope the video was useful. If you have any questions regarding this issue or regarding any other topic like studying, living or working in Finland, you can write them down in the comments below. I will try to answer them as much as possible. We will see you in a new video. Till then, take care.